It's time for your statewide Alabama weathercast.
Good morning, I'm meteorologist Drew McCombs with the Alabama Weather Network, and this is your mid-morning forecast update for the state of Alabama. And we taking a look back to yesterday where we had a few little showers move through, a few, storms, as you might call them there, some fairly low-top storms, but produced a little bit of hail. Had some very cold air aloft coming in with this system, so there was a few spots that saw some small hail. And you can see this was from Brittany Vancor, one of our sky watchers in Tony and up in Madison County there. And you can see off in the distance, there's blue skies there. So these were fairly isolated, but some of them produced just a little bit of small hail there. So that was kind of interesting. But most of the rest of the state did not see anything yesterday and stayed dry as this quick little system moved through here. Got a little bit more reports of that from Oxford as well. This is from Ryan Denny, who sent this in via Facebook. So again, some small hail there as well, kind of mainly in the northern and kind of northeastern part of the state is where we saw a few of those. This is from this morning, so we actually had a decent amount of fog settle in this morning, and this is from Chris Cheatwood in Anniston, who took a drone video near Anniston, kind of doing a 360-degree view of the fog down in the valleys there. As you can see the ridge tops sticking out above it, and blue skies overhead, but a really cool-looking view there of what fog looks like when you're above it. Versus when you're in it and you can't really see anywhere. So looking at the satellite and radar here, you can see that, again, there was a pretty big deck of fog that ended up forming in the northern part of the state down into the central part of the state. The Birmingham Metro was socked in for, at least a lot of it was socked in earlier this morning as well. As we've gotten later into the morning, most of it has begun to burn off, and we've seen at least maybe some still lingering low cloud cover, not as much actual fog at the surface lingering at this point. But you can see most of the southern and western part of the state completely clear and blue skies for this morning. Visibility now, last time I looked at this map, we still had a few lower visibility areas in the northern part of the state, but now it looks like we've all gotten to about 10 miles or more. So again, looks like the fog has started to lift here and burn out over the course of the morning. Hatton was one of those places that had some fog earlier. Now it's just some leftover low clouds, which again, we expect these clouds should clear out as we get later on into the day and into the afternoon. It's still 42 degrees, so it's still chilly out there, especially in these places where there hasn't been a lot of sunshine quite yet. As we move through the state and move down towards the south, Mount Cheaha earlier looked really cool because you had that deck of low clouds and fog below the camera, so you were seeing kind of right on top of the cloud tops, kind of like you're flying there in an airplane. But now you can see that's basically cleared out. There might be a few spots there with some low clouds left over in the distance, but 49 degrees there atop Mount Cheaha. This is one of those cases where it got colder at the lower elevations, and it's a good bit warmer there at those higher elevations compared to some of those lower elevations. You can see Hoover looking nice there. You saw a bank of fog here earlier as well, looking towards the north, back towards the Birmingham area, but it's 46 degrees currently, and it should be warming up fairly quickly now that the sun's out. Got a little bit of a breeze out of the north as well, so it'll be a little bit of a breezy day out there, but not too much. Abbeville, as we move further south in the state, blue skies have been out there from the beginning, and it's 67 degrees, so we've warmed up pretty nicely already in the southern part of the state where we'll expect to get into the 70s. Fairhope looking nice as well. You can see the breeze is definitely going with the flag blowing there, looking out over the bay. It's actually cooler there in Fairhope. It's 57 degrees compared to Abbeville. Again, a little bit of a chilly start down near the coast. Looking at our low temperatures this morning, so we had a lot of places, almost the entire state, not the entire state, but a lot of state got down into the 30s, and we got to freezing or below in a number of spots. Got to 31 in Gadsden, freezing in Coleman and in Hamilton. Looks like Anniston as well. Birmingham got to 33. Huntsville 41, interestingly enough, but you can see further to the south, 30s well down to the very southern part of the state. Looks like Atmore might be the most southern part of the state that hit the upper 30s, but then Mobile and Gulf Shores were in the 40s. As we take a look at what our sky watchers got, we did get some 20s out there as well. So some of the sheltered spots did actually get into the upper 20s. So Wallace Williams and Cottondale, Tyler Rowe and Margaret, and Jeff Lee and Carbon Hill all hit 29 degrees this morning. Saw a few other reports of 20s out there as well. And then Chris Hall and Helena hit 30. Mike Deason and Clanton hit 32. So again, a number of places hit freezing or below, just a little bit below this morning. So definitely a chilly start. And again, we're kind of looking at potentially another chilly start as we get into next week, but we'll be warming up here this week first before we get to that. So here's a look at your temperatures right now. So in some of those places that still have had some lingering fog and cloud cover, it's still chilly out there, still 43 in Birmingham, but you move into the areas where the sun has started to peek out a little bit more, and it's 50 in Anniston, it's 54 in Tuscaloosa, and then as you move down towards the south, we're getting into the 50s and even starting to get into the 60s into the very southern part of the state there. And as we take a look at the forecast temperatures for today. Again, we expect to be pretty nice once we get the sunshine out in full force in the afternoon. So it should be a pretty comfortable afternoon with highs in the 60s generally across pretty much the entire state. As you get further to the south, a little bit closer to 70 degrees there down there. So here's your headlines basically for the week, what we're watching. So again, we expect to be dry through all the way through Thursday. Could have a few showers start to get into the area by Friday. A warming trend as we head towards the latter part of the week. So we'll be feeling pretty nice in the afternoons, still dry, but just warmer as we get through the latter part of the week. And again, a few showers possible on Friday and Saturday and also into Sunday before we expect to kind of start to dry out again and get another shot of some colder air as we get into the early part of next week. Here's a look at your futurecast, again, showing some of those lingering clouds. As we animate over the course of time, we should be pretty much blue skies across the state as we get into the afternoon and into the evening. And again, obviously no chance of rain here. We'll be very dry here for the next several days. Potentially could see a little bit more fog again tomorrow morning. And then again, staying clear outside of that for the rest of the day for tomorrow. And then maybe a few clouds start trying to enter in from the northwest as we get into Wednesday, but still no rain or anything with that. As we look out a little bit further here and head towards the latter part of the week, still staying dry for the most part as we get into Wednesday and Thursday. And then Friday again, scattered showers are possible as we have this next system coming through here, and some of that could linger into Saturday as well. Maybe not quite as much, it's looking like, at least in this current run of the model here, but as we get into Sunday night overnight, we've got some more showers moving through. So again, we think another kind of last round of showers could be coming through Sunday morning before things start to clear out. But now we don't expect any sort of significant rainfall with this, however. Looking at the rainfall outlook, especially the southern part of the state, shouldn't get a whole lot at all. And then up towards the northern part of the state, could get a quarter of an inch in spots, but maybe a little bit more in a few isolated spots, but generally not any sort of big rainmaker expected out of this next system. Now here's kind of the overall look at what the temperature trend is going to look like. So again, right now we're still in this kind of northerly, northwesterly flow where we're having this very chilly morning, but you'll see here fairly quickly this warmer air starts to move in from the west as we get into the next couple of days. So we'll have pleasant, nice conditions, still cool mornings, but very nice warm afternoons as we get into the middle and latter part of the week. And then as we get into, again, late weekend into early next week, this big trough moves in, bringing cooler air or colder air in, and could be even colder than we saw this morning as we get into that first part of next week. Here's a look at your 7-day forecast. So again, fairly nice as we get the rest of those low clouds lifted out of here for the rest of the day today. So we'll expect to get into the low 60s in the northern part of the state. Sunshine dominating through most of the week. And again, getting into the 70s for those highs as we head towards the latter part of the week. And then again, this is pretty spotty showers looking like it on Friday. And then even on Saturday, fairly spotty. Could have a better chance on Sunday as this final front comes through, that maybe there could be a little bit better chance, but we'll be kind of paying attention to that and fine-tuning that as we get closer to it. And then as we look at South Alabama, looks again very nice. Starting off with full sunshine in the southern part of the state already today, so it'll be very nice and warm this afternoon and continuing to warm, and again getting closer to 80, but still fairly dry air mass in place as we head towards Wednesday and Thursday. And again, just a few showers possible on Friday and Saturday, and then maybe a few on Sunday as well. That is your Alabama forecast update. We appreciate you watching us here on the Alabama Weather Network.